Hello listeners, happy December. Hope everyone's excited for the new month and the final month of 2025. Of course, it's AFCON month, so looking forward to that. But I want to welcome everybody to episode 184 of the Nigerian Football Weekly podcast. Me, your host, Olu Oke. Without any further ado, of course, we're going to be going through the Super Eagles Index, who's hot and who's not. Also look out for my video predicting the 27-man squad for AFCON. We know that CAF have allowed a 23 to 27-man squad, so any team can decide to use 23 to 27 players. So I'll be doing a prediction of a 27-man squad, which will be dropping for your listening pleasure this week, so look out for that. In today's episode, I'm going to go through the Super Eagles Index, who's been hot, who's had a great week, who's not had a great week, another NFF issue as usual with regards to Super Falcons, and injury news as head of AFCON, and of course going through the usual player reviews as club football was indeed a hot one over the weekend. The good news is this is what I call a very fast turnaround weekend, because we have Premier League football tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So today is December 1st. I want to get this out to you early on, reviewing all the weekend football, and then we'll get on to the midweek games to be aware about. So who had a hot week among the Nigerian players in Europe and the rest of the world? I mean, I have to start with Ademola Lookman. Like, when you look at the week Ademola Lookman had when he was initially struggling, we know that this is someone that we've been trying to get to play back into form. He's had a few struggles in terms of just getting up to speed in his club side after having issues in terms of his transfers in the summer, But this is a player that under the new manager, Rafael Palladino, now looks really reinvigorated. After scoring in midweek in the Champions League, in their win, which was very, very fantastic from him. He now turned up this weekend again with Atalanta playing Rafael Palladino's old team, Fiorentina, and putting them to the sword with a 2-0 win. Kusono, the Ivory Coast centre-back, scored the first goal, which was probably unintentioned, but then Lookman scored a fantastic goal. It was a corner kick for Atalanta. Really, really well worked. Charles De Ketelaere, the Belgian attacker, headed the ball. The goalkeeper pushed it out. De Gea, look at me saying goalkeeper. De Gea pushed the ball out. And Lookman, he likes his roof finishes where he roofs the ball into the net. So he just got the rebound and smacked it into the top corner to make it 2-0 for Atalanta. Shortly after that, he also had a chance he created for De Ketelaere. No, for Derun. With a cross, which Derun nodded and the goalkeeper was able to save. So just a really, really fantastic week all around for Ademola Lookman. I mean, from getting 1 goal and 1 assist in the Champions League literally last week, he now scored again against Fiorentina. So that's 2 goals and 1 assist in his past 3 games under the new manager. And this is exactly what we want to see ahead of AFCON. Whether you like it or not, we have to put the disappointment of Lookman's World Cup qualifying campaign behind us and behind him. We have to support our best players. And whether you like it or not, after Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman is number 2 in charge, whether we like it or not. So this is good to see ahead of AFCON. The AFCON list to be finalized next week on December 11th, and we know Lookman will be there for sure. So good to see him playing himself into form, and long may he continue. Another person that has been playing himself into form, honestly, this one even shocked me, is Samuel Chukwueze. Ever since Marco Silva made that change last weekend to play Samuel Chukwueze as a left winger, in the final 30 minutes of their match where they beat Sunderland 1-0 and he got an assist. It's like all of a sudden Marco Silva has stumbled upon some special, chemistry solution for getting Chukwueze to play well. Because this left wing Chukwueze ball we're seeing, I never seen it before. We've seen it in spurts here or there when he was in Villarreal, but we never seen this one before. Chukwueze finally got his start. You know that this is Lookman's partner of the weeks for Nigeria. So Lookman and Chukwueze. Look, if our defense is not going to be as strong, we know that Frederick is already injured. Then we need our attack to be firing on all cylinders. Osimhen already know will come to the party. He scored only 1 AFCON goal in the last AFCON, so I know he's coming back for blood. At least 4 or 5. Lookman, we've already spoken about him. If Chukwueze, the final 3 of that trifecta, can just connect, the way Chukwueze connected that 2019 AFCON when he was a youngster, let me not talk too much because we are still licking our wounds, but let's just say at least our objective of going to win AFCON would definitely be a lot easier with a fit and firing Chukwueze. So how did Chukwueze play in this game? He was player of the match yet again. As if it was not enough that he was player of the match against Sunderland. This time Fulham marched into the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and absolutely flogged them. Like honestly, Fulham were amazing. They even wore the blackout kits like they're preparing for Tottenham's funeral. And they were sensational in this game, it must be said. So once again, player of the match for Chukwueze. His assist, pretty good assist. Although you have to say that the Tottenham defending for his assist, you will not see defending that bad even at AFCON. I'm not joking. Like, they were so scared of Chukwueze, he managed to dribble like 3 of them, including Pedro Porro and was it Achigri. It's as if they're just looking at him. They didn't know what they were expecting him to do. Next thing you know, he was able to let the ball off with his left foot to Kelly Tete. Even that his pass, if the Tottenham players really positioned them defensively correctly, they could have intercepted it, but look, it's the history of the Tottenham. So what happens? Kenny Tete gets the ball, fires the shots, it gets deflected, goes straight into the net. 1-0 for Fulham. Now, as if Tottenham's brain fart could not get any worse, Vicario, I don't know what he was doing in no man's land. He decides to come and chase a ball on the right side of the pitch. And then instead of him to clear the ball out, he decides to give it straight away to a Fulham player. Josh King gets the ball, spots it straight to Harry Wilson. And we know Harry Wilson has one of the best left foots in the Premier League and world football. One swipe of the ball, Harry Wilson spanks this ball straight from the right wing with a nice curl straight into an empty net to make it 2-0. As if that was not enough, one of Chukwueze's best weapons in this match, during a corner kick, Tottenham had the ball out. Chukwueze at the edge of the box with that his left foot. You know those goals he used to score for Villarreal? With left foot bending into the corner. He scored a few against Madrid as well. He took this shot and he was very unlucky that he hit the post. Chukwueze almost had a goal and assist in the match yesterday. Honestly, he was fantastic. Sensational. I mean on Saturday. So Chukwueze, please continue this fantastic work. He even had another chance where he even dribbled the keeper, but Van de Ven was able to make a save. So Chukwueze was electric. Honestly, one of the best performers in Premier League this past weekend. So long may it continue. Chukwueze, please, we're loving this joy that you're feeling being in London. Maybe familiar surroundings or just being around fellow Nigerians who play both in your team and the community around us here in London. You know, so Chukwueze, God bless you and long may it continue. Another person that at this point cannot be denied, Paul Onuachu. Paul Onuachu scored yet another brace for Trabzonspor in the Turkish Super League. Look, whether we like it or not, this man is saying, look, if you do not call me up, it is not based on my own actions. Yet again, Trabzonspor were in action against Konyaspor on Saturday, and Paul Onuachu first opened the square with a penalty, dispatched it, sending the goalkeeper to the wrong way. It has to be said, there's a Nigeria eligible winger, Kazim Olaigbe. He can play for Belgium or Nigeria. He's playing on the wings for Trabzonspor. It's been an interesting past few years for him. He went to Rennes last summer, but clearly did not work out. So was it in January, and now he's on loan at Trabzonspor. But I must say, he was very lively in this match, and he played a good part in Onuachu's second goal. You know, he played a 1-2 with another winger for Trabzonspor, and that guy literally just laid it off to Onuachu in the middle of the box. Go and watch that goal. That's how you know the quality of the league. I don't know what they are teaching them in Turkish Super League. This guy knows Onuachu is a right-footed player. Onuachu shapes to shoot with his left foot. He goes and tries to dive in to block the shot. Onuachu is clearly not going to shoot with his left foot. So next thing you know, Onuachu just sells the dummy. This guy goes flying and he just places the ball straight into the bottom right corner of the net to make it 2-0. Fantastic performance from Trabzonspor, and honestly, they're doing very, very well. He's now the top scorer in the league with 11 goals from 14 games, which is a fantastic record when you think about it, even with the penalties. Even penalties, you must dispatch them. If you miss them, they'll give you wahala. So when you score, you must take the praise too. So at this point, it must be said that he's making a very, very solid case. And for someone like him to not be called up at the expense of an Arokodare at this point to feel more like a travesty. If Arokodare has even scored 1 or 2 goals in the Premier League, we can say okay. But this is a player that is not firing on any cylinder at all. So Onuachu continued the good work. Also, Philip Otele, the left winger, I mentioned the fact that he scored his second Europa League goal of the season against Genk on Thursday. Really, really good finish. He was very unlucky not to even score a brace in that match with the Thierry Henry-esque type of finish. So this is another one to watch for the Super Eagles squad. Although it's a bit unfortunate for him that he's a left winger, because that's where we have Ademola Lookman and Moses Simon. You know, I think right now, if our left wing is up, raising shoulder, our right wing is like this. Unless Chukwueze continues performing well, because even this Chukwueze performance is from the left wing we are seeing it too. Simon too, left winger. Lookman too, left winger. Otele, left winger. Irasor, left winger. Where are the right wingers? Nathan Tyler, stand up. So anyway, good one to see for Otele, and let's see what he can do to force himself into consideration for the Super Eagles. Also, I have to shout out Maduka Okoye this week again. After saving a penalty last week in Udinese's loss in Serie A. This week, he's ended up coming out with a standout performance in a clean sheet for Udinese in their 2-0 win over Parma. He made 2 saves and was pretty flawless in this match, it must be said. With Nwabali also missing games for Chippa United this week, he may be looking to get that Super Eagles #1 spot much more closely. We have our first friendly game ahead of AFCON against Egypt, literally in 14 days' time in Egypt on the 14th of December, I believe. So let's see what Eric Shell's going to do in terms of Okoye starting or Nwabali on that one. But very good to see. Also, it was a good week for Shemi Ajayi. You guys know my thoughts anyway, but we must call out good news. It was a mixed week initially. So last week, Tuesday, his Hull City team lost 2-0 to Ipswich Town. One of the goals was even scored by Chuba Akpom. But the good news is over the weekend, they were a goal down against Stoke City. Fantastic goal by Jerome Thomas. Like, fantastic, honestly. But Shemi Ajayi was able to score the equalizer for Hull City. No prizes for guessing how he scored the goal. It was a header, yes, from a set piece to make it 1-1. And I believe it was his first goal for Hull City since he moved there. But then next thing you know, Hull City were able to score a last-minute winner through Joe Gelhardt, who was a really highly touted youngster, I believe, at Leeds United. But yeah, pretty good performance from them. I mean, it's one of those ones where now that Benjamin Frederick is out, the auditions for who's going to partner Calvin Bassey at AFCON are fully in swing. You know, Shemi Ajayi seems to be the one with the belts right now. But between him, Ekong, Awaziem, even players like Torunariga, even Igor Ugbo, who's come back from injury, I think they're all still fighting for this spot. So let's see what happens. Because if Shemi Ajayi has to start the whole tournament in the back four, let's just see, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Also, Rafiu Durosinmi had a very good week for his club side, Victoria Pilsen. After not scoring since October, as you'd have seen in the preview show I did, it was his second goal for Victoria Pilsen in their 2-1 win over Mlada Bratislava. So he scored the winner to make it 2-1. He has now scored 11 goals in all competitions, so it's one for us to monitor closely for sure. Now, who did not have a good week so far? I mean, the ones not playing games. I think that's the biggest problem we have in the Super Eagles squad. Tolu Arokodare came on the 88th minute when Wolves lost to Aston Villa 1-0 yesterday. That's why I called charity minutes. You cannot gain anything from that. Also, Christantus Uche, we'll give him the positive that he actually got onto the pitch in the Premier League, which is a rarity considering how his season has gone so far. But Christantus Uche was brought on to play the final 12 minutes as Crystal Palace lost 2-1 to Man United yesterday at Selhurst Park. So still not enough to do anything. You know, he won a free kick here or there, but wasn't able to really contribute in the match. Onyeka is another big worry for us. Yet again, he was on a new sub for Brentford in their win over Burnley. So this is a guy that is firmly 4th choice centre mid, if not 5th choice. Henderson plays before him. Yarmolenko plays before him. There's another guy I'm not even thinking about that always plays before him. So that's a very concerning one. Also, our right back position, Bright Osayi-Samuel, who is the current incumbent. He was on the bench yet again for Birmingham City last week. Let's see if he plays when they play today against Watford. But look, we already know that it's not looking good in terms of our right back position unless Aina can somehow get fit. Let's see what happens to this Ryan Alebiosu guy as well. But a lot of these players not playing games need to sort it out ahead of AFCON because that lack of match sharpness, we saw it affected us against DR Congo. And we cannot be carrying any passengers at AFCON. If you're not match fit, you should not be playing games. I'm sorry. So let's see what happens. Now, another major talking point of the week, of course, we have to talk about the NFF. We already know that they failed to organize friendly matches for the Super Falcons this week. You know, their counterparts, Ghana, are playing England tomorrow. I think Morocco are even playing South Africa tomorrow. All the other competitors and teams that will call challengers to win the AFCON, they are all being given adequate preparation for their games. Everybody except the Super Falcons. Do you know how shameful it is that the players have to reposting things on Instagram stories saying that why have they not been giving friendly matches prosecute? And yet again, here we are just looking and lamenting. It's not good enough. Simo Bike spoke again based on an interview Randy Waldrum gave on the Continent podcast hosted by Holloway. He's such a good journalist. He's Zimbabwean. Anyway, it's called On the Continent podcast. And he spoke to Randy Waldrum last year in terms of our accountability. Now, Randy Waldrum, the former Super Falcons coach, mentioned that at least $960,000 is usually given to the federations to prepare. And this was all given to them ahead of the 2023 World Cup, where we lost in the round of 16 on penalties to England. But guess what? NFF did not give them that money. FIFA also allows up to 22 technical staff, but Nigeria only had 11. No analysts or scouts to watch other countries in case we play against them. He also spoke about how they wanted a certain player to be included in the final squad, who was someone that he even had watched already. No, they wanted a certain player. NFF wanted a player to be inputted into the squad, who the coach Randy Waldrum had not even watched, but they wanted him to carry the player. Can you imagine? They said if the player was not included, they would not make arrangements for one of his technical staff. Can you imagine? I don't want to guess who the player is. Too many negative stories about the NFF. All the ex-coaches, what I even love about foreigners is they don't send anybody, papa. They go talk the truth. They are not, there's no Gusau or Pinnick will kill me or trying to ruin my career. Oibo, they are used to countries of accountability. So I like how all these ex-managers, they come out and call the nonsense. Go and watch Super Eagles 96 documentary on Prime Video. See the things Westhoff was saying about the NFF in the 90s. This is something that happens all throughout. Even Labadia that tried to coach Nigeria, you heard the nonsense Gusau said. Does Gusau look like someone that has the competence to even know how to negotiate a contract? Or know the kind of things to talk about? If he can come out and start mentioning tax issues with a contract with a German, that means he's not aware of international laws. It's not good enough. We are being run by very, very incompetent people, and this is not good enough. They are even lucky that for some reason the Nigeria consciousness does not care about the women's team like the men's team. If this was America, people would be sacked this week. They are still reading off the men not making the World Cup. Yet look at how they are platforming the women that actually can bring them success. And mind you, this AFCON in March is also doubled down as qualifiers for the World Cup in Brazil in 2027. No? And yet look at the preparation. But when they win, Gusau and Co will come and be carrying trophy to celebrate if they win. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. I hope we see reform. I heard there's NFF presidential election next year in September. Go and hear about the NFF codes. Only 44 people in the whole of Nigeria are allowed to vote for who can become NFF president after it was changed in 2004. Does this sound like a country that is trying to look for transparency and accountability? So I just wanted to bring that one out because, look, it is very, very poor. Even if you choose to move forward and leave the things Waldrum called out, the whole year, no games were organized for the Falcons. Only Portugal and Ghana were announced for the Falcons just before the AFCON in the summer. Apart from that, they not play another match this year, sure you know. It's as if, like I said, you know there is World Cup qualifier. Ghana will go and play England in a good stadium in Birmingham. If not for individual brilliance and zeal yet again, Esther Nkoronko, Rashida Tajibade, and the likes, Ihezu, Onumonu, who are our defenders, Alozie and Plumpter, Osinachi, Ohale, and Demei, and our fantastic goalkeeper, Anadozie. If not for individual brilliance and zeal, we will not have won the last AFCON. That one was just individual luck. So let's see what happens, and we'll continue to call out this incompetence because it is not good enough. Now, finally, injury news ahead of AFCON as we prepare to see the list released. The good news is we have some of our best players coming back from injury. Victor Osimhen is back in training for Galatasaray, and he could be in action later tonight as Galatasaray play Fenerbahce in what will be a blockbuster top of the table clash with Galatasaray going away to play Fenerbahce. Last season, I watched this game, and you see the amount of police in the stadium, man. So I'll be keeping an eye on that one and seeing if Osimhen will be in the squad for that today. Obviously, I want to talk about the unfortunate news that we already heard about Benjamin Frederick. Really, really sad. I mean, for him to pick up a knee injury that will keep him out of AFCON, which was going to be his breakout tournament, is just so sad to see. Even me as a Nigerian, the way I was feeling confident with Bassey and Frederick, I cannot tell you how sad I am to hear this Frederick injury news, man. But the good thing is at his age, he will get many more opportunities. And by God's grace, he will come back better and stronger. Also, Ebenezer Akinsanmiro still has an injury on his shoulder, but he may be back very soon. Apparently, we've heard mid-December. So there's a world where he may still be called up for AFCON because that's someone that we're keen to see back in the squad. Also, game changer for me as far as Super Eagles is concerned, Dele-Bashiru thankfully was back and welcome from injury this weekend for Lazio. He had been injured for just over 2 months after getting an hamstring injury, but he played for Lazio over this weekend and got sizable minutes. I think he played about 20 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. They did lose 1-0 to AC Milan though, but I did see some bright prospects from Fisayo. And I'm telling you guys, this guy is a game changer. His eye for goal and his directness is something we have not seen in the Super Eagles for a minute from our wingers. So very, very excited that Dele-Bashiru is back. And he better go in AFCON. I don't want to hear any stories. look, go and bring your best players. Also, a new left back we've started tracking, Isaac James. He plays for Alverca in Portugal, who are in the top flights in Portugal after qualifying last season. He just returned to action this weekend as they played Casapia. Remember, our left back options, yes, we have Onyemachi and Sanusi, but we have Agu who's injured as well. But Isaac James is a very young player, I think he's 21 or 20, and he's starting games in the Portuguese Premier Liga. So very similar story to Seydou Sanusi before he started playing for Porto. So one to monitor for sure. Also, Igor Ugbo, this one brings me a lot of joy because left to me, I will start Igor Ugbo alongside Bassey at AFCON. But Igor Ugbo finally got his first few minutes of game time this season, playing 19 minutes for Slavia Prague in the 3-0 win over Slovako in the league. Let's see if he can get back to starting games. I would love to see if he can be included in if he can play the Champions League game soon and continue to get up to, full fitness for his club Slavia Prague, because there's a really fantastic defender there, and hopefully he can make his Champions League debut and also make a case to be in the AFCON squad. Cyril Dessers also played his first few minutes since his ankle injury for Panathinaikos over a month ago. So good to see Cyril Dessers back, and I'm sure he'll be fighting for his AFCON spot as well. So that's it in terms of the main call-outs, and just to get through the player reviews, I already spoke about Chukwueze's fantastic performance for Fulham in their 2-1 win over Tottenham. Calvin Bassey and Alex Iwobi also started the game. All our Niger boys played well and did very, very well in this match for Fulham. Obviously, Chukwueze was the standout and was just exceptional. So honestly, Fulham, you guys are giving me so much joy. I even need to get myself down there to watch a game. My cousin even works for Fulham, so let me try and use opportunity. But my God, Fulham right now are the only Premier League side giving us joy when it comes to our Super Eagles players. So we continue to wish the Fulham boys well. I mean, they were struggling a little bit because that win has now put them in 15th place. So it may not seem that impressive. But if you look through the lines, they're only 5 points off Brighton in 5th place. So a very competitive Premier League season. And long may the good news and good vibes continue for the Fulham boys. Next up for them, though, they play Man City tomorrow, Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. I'm sure Fulham will fancy themselves, or at least getting a draw in that game. And then they play Crystal Palace at home on Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Nigeria time. As for Nottingham Forest boys, Taiwo Awoniyi is also now out with a muscle injury, but expected back soon. All I know is not yet back training with the squad, even though he started individual training. Nottingham Forest lost 2-0 at home to Brighton, which was not a good result. They play Wolves away on Wednesday, so they'll be feeling confident of getting a result at the Molineux. And then they play Everton at the Hill Dickinson Stadium on Saturday, 4 p.m. Nigeria time. I already spoke about Frank Onyeka being a bench boy for Brentford in a 3-0 win over Burnley on Saturday. Next up for Brentford, they come to the Emirates Stadium on Wednesday to play Arsenal, 8:30 p.m. Nigeria time. So let's hope Onyeka can get some minimal minutes at the very least. And then as if that's not, well, it's not that tricky because they go to play Tottenham away on Saturday, 4 p.m. But at this moment in time, going to play Tottenham away is almost like having a home game, it must be said. Christantus Uche, we did talk about the fact that he finally played 12 minutes on Sunday as Crystal Palace lost 2-1 to Manchester United. Good result for Man United. Christantus Uche was also on the bench in the 2-1 loss for Crystal Palace against Strasbourg, which I mentioned on Friday. Let's see if he can get some minutes on Wednesday when they play Burnley away. And then they play Fulham away at Craven Cottage, so that'll be Battle of Nigerian players. Arokodare, as we mentioned, came on for the final minutes of the 1-0 loss for Wolves against Aston Villa. Aston Villa scored a cracking goal by Boubacar Kamara, by the way. Go check it out if you have not seen that goal. Let's see if he gets some more minutes when they play Nottingham Forest at home on Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. And then Wolverhampton will be hosting Manchester United at home on Monday Night Football next week, Monday. Other results not involving Nigerian footballers included Sunderland beating Bournemouth 3-2 after going down by 2-0. Very, very impressive performance by Sunderland, it must be said, as they maintain their top 6 spot at the moment in the Premier League. Man City beat Leeds United with a last-minute winner by Phil Foden. This was a very interesting match. I thought Man still romped to a 3-0 win. Ivan triple captain Haaland, what a waste of my chip. City went 2-0 up, and then Leeds United equalized to make it 2-2 before Phil Foden scored that last-minute goal. Newcastle absolutely embarrassed Everton 4-1 at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Newcastle's best performance away this season so far. Walter Mado was exceptional. The whole Newcastle team was very, very good, and Everton was shocking. Although Drewsbury Hall's goal was fantastic, it must be said. So go check that out. Also, Liverpool beat West Ham 2-0 yesterday. Alexander Isak finally scored his first Premier League goal in 6 appearances, and then Cody Gakpo getting the second goal in the dying minutes of the match to round off the game. Also, the final blockbuster match of the weekend, so Chelsea host Arsenal yesterday. It must be said, Chelsea were very good in this game. It was 1-1. Moses Caicedo got a red card in the first half, of course, and somehow Chelsea took the lead through a Chaloba goal from a set piece against Arsenal. Mikel Merino was able to score an equalizer for us with 30 minutes to go, but unfortunately we're not able to find the winner. Chelsea were impressive, it must be said. Arsenal, we lick our wounds. We really should have been winning when you're playing against 10 men. But when you look at the week we had, thrashing Tottenham 4-1, then beating Bayern Munich 3-1. You take a draw at Stamford Bridge. We still haven't lost there in 4 years. We keep it going and we move on to our next game against Brentford at home. So, Premier League table. Arsenal continue to lead the league with 30 points from our first 13 games, 9 wins, 3 draws, and 1 loss, 25 goals scored, 7 goals conceded, 8 plus 18 goal difference, 30 points. Man City are second, 5 points behind us, with 8 wins so far from their first 13 games. And then Chelsea and Aston Villa round up the top 4, 1 point behind Man City. Both of them are on 24 points, an identical record so far. Brighton and Sunderland are 5th and 6th, 1 point behind on 22 points each. And then Man United and Liverpool are currently 7th and 8th with 21 points each. And then Palace round up the top 10 with 20 points after 13 games. Brentford are 10th, obviously, but joint 19 points with Bournemouth. Everybody is competitive, as I said before, except Wolverhampton. So let's see how it goes. As I said, there's midweek football this week, so look out for all the football. And we'll, of course, be breaking that down in the weekend preview, which will be released on Friday. Tomorrow, Fulham host Man City, 8:30 p.m. kickoff Nigeria time. Bournemouth also host Everton at the Vitality Stadium as they look to get back to winning ways. Newcastle host Tottenham at St. James's Park in 9:15 p.m. kickoff tomorrow. That should be a tasty game. And then on Wednesday, we have a total of 6 fixtures. 8:30, there will be 4 games. Brighton host Aston Villa at the Amex Stadium. Burnley hosting Crystal Palace. Wolverhampton hosting Nottingham Forest. And Arsenal hosting Brentford at the Emirates Stadium. There'll be a late game on Wednesday as well as Chelsea go to Ellen Road to play Leeds United, who will be feeling pretty good despite losing to Man City last minute. And then Liverpool also host Sunderland at Anfield on Wednesday. And then to round up the midweek games on Thursday, we'll see Manchester United host West Ham at Old Trafford. So look out for those games. In the English Championship, I already spoke about Ajayi scoring the winner over Stoke City over the weekend. Next up for Hull, they play Middlesbrough at home on Friday, 9 p.m. Nigeria time. Osayi-Samuel was on the bench for Birmingham in the 1-1 draw against West Brom on Wednesday. Birmingham do play Watford tonight, 9 p.m. Nigeria time, so let's see if Osayi-Samuel gets any minutes in that game. After that, they will play Southampton away on Saturday. By the way, speaking of Southampton, Joaribo started playing games after a long spell out. But safe to say that's a player that's probably ran his race as a Super Eagles international. Moving on to Serie A, I already spoke about the amazing, wonderful exploits of Ademola Lookman, superstar, current African, no longer current. Former African Footballer of the Year, of course. After getting a goal and assist in Atlanta's 3-0 win over Eintracht Frankfurt on Wednesday, he then played 77 minutes and scored a goal over Fiorentina over the weekend yesterday. Fantastic win for Atalanta, and they're now feeling the good vibes in the league. They will be playing Coppa Italia on Wednesday as they host Genoa at home, and then they play Verona away on Saturday, which they'll be confident of winning, 8:45 p.m. Nigeria time. Verona are currently bottom of Serie A, and it's not looking good, so I'm sure Atalanta and Lookman will fancy their chances. Speaking of Verona, they did lose again over the weekend. Gift Orban played 24 minutes as they lost 2-1 to Genoa at home, so really, really bad loss. Oh no, sorry, that was away. So let's see if Orban can get back to the starting lineup and play that game against Atalanta and at least cause them some problems. Obviously, I spoke about Dele-Bashiru's return from injury against AC Milan. He actually played 28 minutes, which was good to see. Funny enough, they play AC Milan again on Thursday in the Coppa Italia. So let's see if he can get a start or even play more minutes. And then in the league, they'll play Bologna at home on Sunday, 6 p.m. Nigeria time. I spoke about Maduka Okoye saving and keeping a clean sheet over the weekend as Udinese beat Parma 2-0. Udinese remain 9th in Serie A, and they also have a tricky game against Juventus away in the Coppa Italia on Tuesday night, tomorrow 9 p.m. So that'll be a very good test for Maduka Okoye. And then they play Genoa at home on Monday next week, 6 p.m. Nigeria time. Akinsanmiro is currently out, but Pisa play Parma at home on Monday, 3 p.m. Nigeria time. So he has another week to recover from his current injury. So let's see if he can play in that game. In La Liga, Sevilla continued to disappoint. The good news is both of our Nigerian players started. Akwa Adams and Ejuke both played in this match. But it was a non-factor. Like, Betis were always going to win this game, and they beat them 2-0. Before Real Betis scored their first goal through Pablo Fornals, remember, in his play at West Ham, Sevilla were the better team, it must be said. But once Real Betis scored their first goal, it was a wrap, and then they sealed the game win with 10 minutes to go. Also, Ako Adams striking challenger Akinsanmiro got sent off in the match, so that means Ako Adams should continue to play games for Sevilla going forward. They will be in action in Copa del Rey on Thursday, playing CD Extremadura, so maybe one of them may be benched, and then they play Valencia away on Sunday, 4:15 p.m. Nigeria time. There was good news for Sadiq, who finally started the game for Real Sociedad in La Liga. He played 56 minutes against the team he was loaned out to last season in Valencia. Real Sociedad unfortunately lost this game 3-2 to Valencia, but good and encouraging to see some Omar Sadiq playing minutes. Let's see if he plays when they play Royce away on Wednesday in the Copa del Rey, and then they play Deportivo Alaves away on Saturday, 4:15 p.m. Nigeria time. In the Bundesliga, Nathan Teller played 8 minutes for Leverkusen in their 2-0 dropping of Man City on Tuesday. He then came on in the 88th minutes, played the final minutes as Leverkusen lost 2-1 to Borussia Dortmund on Saturday. It must be said, very good performance from Borussia Dortmund, and they did deserve the victory. Funny enough, they'll be playing Borussia Dortmund yet again tomorrow in the DFB Pokal. So you can see that all the leagues are playing games this week. If it's not a cup competition, it will be the Premier League. So let's see. But this time, Leverkusen have to go away to play at the Signal Iduna Park in Dortmund. So that'll be a tricky game, but hopefully can get some more minutes. And then they play Auberg away on Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Nigeria time. Victor Boniface was a substitute again. He came on for the final 20 minutes for Werder Bremen in their 1-1 draw against Cologne. Next up for him, he plays Hamburg away on Sunday. Now, speaking of Hamburg, they've started to win games in the Bundesliga. Jordan Torunariga played 90 minutes as they beat Stuttgart 2-1 on Sunday. That's a very, very impressive win. Former Arsenal player Fabio Vieira, who's on loan at Hamburg, I believe he scored one of the goals. So Torunariga, keep up the good work. He's got a DFB Pokal game on Wednesday against Holstein Kiel, and then they play Werder Bremen at home on Sunday. In France, Thierry Murphy's knees continue to lose games left, right, and centre. He started over the weekend as they lost their 6th straight game in a row in all competitions, so it's not looking good. When you're losing to newly promoted Lorient, to now make it worse, Lorient is Thierry Murphy's former side. That's where him, Enzo Lefi at Sunderland, Dango Waitara at Brentford, and Ahmad Loriente at Sassuolo all came up, I think, four seasons ago. But to now come back and play them and they thrash you 3-1 when you're supposed to be playing for Nice, who are the better team, that's not good enough. But anyway, let's see if they can lick their wounds and do better when they play Angers at home on Sunday. Moses Simon also started for Paris FC in their 1-1 draw against Auxerre on Saturday. Next up for him, they play Le Havre away on Sunday. No goals or assists though. Chidozie Awaziem started for Nantes, but they got absolutely spanked 3-0 by Lyon, which was not surprising. Next up for them, they play High-Flying Lens at home on Saturday, 5 p.m. Nigeria time. Speaking of Lens, they're currently top of League One. I know, excuse my friend, that's ridiculously incredible. You know, Hamza Al-General was on the bench though, on sub as Lens beat Angers 2-1 to go top of the table. So let's see how they get on when they play Nantes. Onyeka, on the other hand, was on sub over the past week for Monaco. Monaco did beat PSG 1-0 on Saturday, so very impressive performance. But Onyeka is not happening for him, so at this point, it's him that will come and beg NFF, because France no go beg him if he's not playing minutes like that. So good luck to you, Onyeka, when you play Brest away on Friday. In the Portuguese league, we saw Zedu Sanusi on the bench for Porto's 3-0 win over Nice on Thursday in the Europa League, but he played 45 minutes yesterday in their 1-0 win over Estoril as they continue to dominate the Portuguese league. Next up for them, though, they play in the League Cup on Thursday against Vitória de Guimarães, and then they play Tondela away in the league on Sunday. Isaac James returned from his injury, and he played the final minutes in Alverca's 2-0 win over Casapia as they move up to 14th in the league. Next up, they play Nacional at home on Sunday, so they'll be feeling positive about a win. I don't know what's happening to Club Brugge at the moment, but they're going through a bit of a bad spell. After getting thrashed 3-0 by Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League, they then somehow managed to lose 1-0 to Royal Antwerp, who were 14th in the league up until last weekend. Royal Antwerp won last week they even lost to FCB Denda. So for Antwerp to now beat Club Brugge, you must say that's a scalp. I don't know what's happening to Club Brugge, but they're usually the best team in Belgium alongside Union Saint-Gilloise. So they need to fix up and sort it out. Starting with the Belgian Cup this Wednesday where they play Leuven, and then they play St. Truden away on Saturday, 8:45 p.m. Nigeria time. As for Yerasor, I already spoke about his goal in the Europa League on Thursday. He then played 5 minutes in Genk's 2-1 win over Leuven on Sunday. Next up for Genk, they play Anderlecht in the Belgian Cup on Thursday, and then they play Royal Antwerp away on Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Nigeria time. In Turkey, let's see Victor Osimhen plays for Galatasaray when they play Fenerbahce tonight. Top of the table clash, very, very important game. If Fenerbahce win, I believe they will go top of the league, which is not what we would like to hear from our star player. You know, at the moment, yes, Fenerbahce are just 1 point behind Galatasaray. Trabzonspor are 1 point behind as well, but they played their game for this week. As far as Galatasaray get a draw or a win, they'll remain top of the league. But if Fenerbahce win, Fenerbahce will go 2 points ahead of them this season. Fenerbahce are actually the only unbeaten side in Turkey this season with 4 draws and 9 wins from their first 13 games. Fenerbahce have won more games because they have 10 wins, but they did lose to Kocaelispor just before the international break. So let's see how that game goes. After that game, we'll then see Osimhen play Trabzonspor at home on Friday, but of course we'll bring that in the weekend preview. We already spoke all about Onuachu's exploits for Trabzonspor this week. He'll be in action in the Turkish Cup on Wednesday as they play Vam Spor Kulübü, and then they play Göztepe away on Sunday, 6 p.m. Nigeria time, which is Anthony Dennis's side. Now, Anthony Dennis's side, they're also flying high. They're currently 4th in the league. Really doing well. Yes, they're 6 points off Galatasaray, but when you consider the size of the club and how well they're playing, it must be said that this is very impressive. Anthony Dennis continues to start games. They beat Antalyaspor 2-1 on Sunday. They will also be in action in Turkish Cup this week on Wednesday, playing Beyuglu Yeni Karsi football, and then they play Trabzonspor at home on Sunday. Also, Wilfred Ndidi was in action and played 90 minutes as Besiktas beat Karagümrük 2-0 on Sunday. They are now 5th in the league. Currently about 2 points off Göztepe, while being 8 points off Galatasaray. So Besiktas started the season terribly, but they're beginning to find form and figure things out as a club. Next up for them, though, they play Gaziantep at home on Monday in the league. In the Czech league, I already spoke about David Moses' exploits for Slavia Prague in the Champions League, where they got a 0-0 draw against Athletic Bilbao. The good news is over the weekend, we saw Igor Ugbo finally come on for his first minutes of the season, playing 90 minutes in a 3-0 win over Slovako, as I mentioned. David Moses was a new sub in this game, but probably being rested after all the games he played recently. Next up for them, though, they play Teplice away on Friday. I did also speak about Rafiu Durosinmi's exploits in Victoria Pilsen's 2-1 win over Mlada Boleslav on Sunday. He actually scored his goal even though he came off the bench and played only the final 18 minutes. So very good and impressive to see for him. As for Bruno Yemachi, he was on the bench in their 4-3 loss to Real Madrid for Olympiacos in Greece. However, he played 90 minutes yesterday as they beat Panetolikos 1-0. Next up for them, though, they play in the Greek Cup on Wednesday against Hellas Syros, and then they play OFI Kreti at home on Saturday, 4 p.m. Nigeria time. Serie came on in the 86th minute for Panathinaikos, their 3-2 loss to AEK Athens. It's not going well for them. They're currently 6th. So Rafa Benitez needs to figure things out for them. But they play in the Greek Cup as well on Wednesday, so let's see if Deserts can get some minutes under his belt. 6 p.m. Nigeria time, and then they play AE Larissa away on Sunday, 4 p.m. Nigeria time. I also spoke about Philippe Otele scoring for Basel in their 2-1 loss to Genk. He also played 90 minutes in the league as they drew 0-0 against St. Gallen over the weekend. They will also be in action in the Swiss Cup on Thursday as they play FC Grand Saconex, and then they play Winter away on Sunday in the Swiss League. In the Austria League, let's see what happens to Chibike Nwaiwu on Sunday as they play Austria Wien. He was suspended for Wolfsberger's game this Saturday due to accumulating too many yellow cards already. Stein Obali, on the other hand, was not in the squad for Chippa United over the past week in their 2-0 loss over Orlando Pirates and the 0-0 draw against Siwelele on Saturday. So I'm not sure if there's an injury there, but Chippa United play Kaiser Chiefs on Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m. Nigeria time. So one to monitor in terms of our current Eagles number 1. Now, Starboy of the Week, bronze medal this week. I want to give it to Samuel Chukwueze. The Premier League is the toughest league in the world for a reason. when you play 2 games and you get back-to-back man of the match awards for your squad, and then you start your first Premier League game on Saturday and get an assist within the first 5 minutes of the game, also hit the post, and you are awarded man of the match, I mean, it has to be said that that's an impressive performance by all accounts. So you, my friend, you get the bronze medal for the week. Silver medal this week goes to Onuachu, scoring yet another brace for Trabzonspor in their 3-1 win over Konyaspor. You know, now having 11 goals from just 14 games and being the outright top goal scorer in the Turkish league is no easy feat. So congratulations to you, Onuachu, you're the silver medalist. Gold medalist this week has to go to the one and only Ademola Lookman. When you get a goal and assist in the Champions League for your team Atalanta, when you go away to play Eintracht Frankfurt, which is a very, very tough ground to go to in the Champions League, and win 3-0, then you rock up with your new manager against his former squad and then beat them 2-0, and you score your second Serie goal of the season, to score your second straight goal in 2 back-to-back games, just to signal that I'm still the star player here and I'm ready to get things cracking again. Ademola Lookman, we are so proud of you. I'm very excited to bring you and name you as the Starboy of the week, the gold medal this week for your exceptional performances for Atalanta this week. And long may it continue over the next few weeks as we head into a crucial AFCON. So like I said, ones to watch for this week. Remember, there's midweek football across all the top leagues you can think about. Whether it's a cup game or a league match, everybody's playing ball. So tomorrow, the Fulham boys host Man City at Craven Cottage. I would expect all 3 of them to start after how well they played against Tottenham on Saturday. Maduka Okoye will be playing away against Juventus at the Juventus Stadium, 9 p.m. Nigerian time, Coppa Italia. While Nathan Teller's Bayer Leverkusen will be going away to play Borussia Dortmund at the Signal Iduna Park, 9 p.m. Nigeria time, DFB Pokal. On Wednesday, we'll then see Ademola Lookman's Atalanta host Genoa in the Coppa Italia, 3 p.m. Nigeria time. Tolu Arokodare's Wolverhampton will then host Nottingham Forest if Awoniyi is fit, 8:30 p.m. Nigeria time. Frank Onyeka's Brentford come to the Emirates to play Arsenal, 8:30 p.m. Nigeria time. Although any minute you get from Onyeka, we'll take it as a positive. Christantus Uche's Crystal Palace go away to play Burnley, 8:30 p.m. Nigeria time. Any minutes for Uche will be a positive as well. And then on Thursday, we'll see Dele-Bashiru's Lazio play AC Milan, 9 p.m. in the Coppa Italia. And on Friday, we'll see Victor Osimhen's Galatasaray play against Trabzonspor, 6 p.m. Nigeria time. Remember, I'll be doing my midweek report and weekend preview episode on Thursday night to be released on Friday morning or afternoon. So we'll do the preview of all the games to walk towards the weekend coming soon. But that's it for this episode of the podcast. I want to thank you all for rocking with me. I do not take it for granted. I want to thank every single listener, every single subscriber. We're now over 9,200 subscribers as the road to 10,000 subscribers continues. Once again, please let me know your thoughts over the weekend's performances. Who do you think played very well? Who do you think needs to step up their game? How did your club side do? Let me know. And which Nigerian player are you looking forward to seeing being named in the AFCON squad? As I said, please also look out for the video that I've done predicting the 23 or 27 or 26 man squad AFCON list. Just to let me know your thoughts on that one. But until next time, I'll be also okay. Good luck to all the clubs you support, and looking forward to dissecting the Super Eagles squad list very, very soon, as that will be announced at the latest on the 11th of December. Take care, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and click the bell to get a notification whenever we drop a video. You can also find our social media channels listed below. And of course, up Super Eagles and Nigerian, they ever carry last.